go. Okay, we should be good to go.
You're ready? Okay.
Yes.
So I will call the Tuesday, April 13th meeting of Finance to order at 4:30. Roll call, Alder Bill Galvin.
Here.
Alder Corpus Dax. Here. And Alder Brian Johnson.
Here.
And Alder Dorf is here. So at this point, I will entertain a motion to approve the agenda.
So moved.
Second. Moved by Alder Johnson, second by Alder Corpus Dax. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, nay. Motion carries. Approval of the minutes.
So moved.
Second. Alder Johnson, second by Alder Galvin. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. All right. Regular business. Are we going too fast for you, Diana? Are we okay?
Just one moment, please. We have
I can't hear you. Your lips are moving, but no sound.
Yep. Okay, we're good to go. Yes.
Okay. All right, regular business. Number one, a request by Alder Burnett to the Finance Committee, which states to approve the funding required to have an outside human resource department or consultant review the workplace complaint of the former city clerk in order to report to the city council. So I'm going to let Alder Burnett speak on this. Before he does, I want to say that I think we're putting the cart before the horse here, that I think we have to first deal with the personnel request before we can deal with the finance request. And then that personnel request should go to council, whether we're going to have the investigation or not, and then we should approve the funding. So those are my thoughts on it, that we won't really be able to act on this tonight. But I'll entertain other thoughts, and Alder Burnett would just speak to this.
Yeah, and thank you, Chairperson Dorf. To your point, Director Falls did reach out to me by email to combine the two agenda items, and I was out of town and I did not respond to that email in time to have that happen. So the attempt from city staff was to have that happen, and I'll take responsibility that I did not, due to being out of town, respond in time for that to take place. So I still think we could approve or at least discuss the possibility of funding, how much such an investigation would cost. Has the city ever done this? Have we ever consulted with outside human resources for issues that could be a conflict of interest? So I think that would be a good place to start.
Alder Burnett, if I may ask, it seems to me that this is really just the funding mechanism. Was a specific intent behind separating these items. And the reason I bring that up is because if all you're looking for here is the funding mechanism, could we not, it would seem to me to make sense just to prove this contingent on the action of the personnel committee. If the personnel committee says, no, we're not going to pursue it, well, then you just disregard this. But if they say, yes, we're going to pursue it, got to have a way to fund it. So, or does that not make sense?
Chairperson Dorf, do you mind if I respond?
Oh, go ahead. Respond.
Yeah, so this happened when I attempted to get an outside legal opinion. I was told that it should go to finance because we get the approval for an outside legal opinion from finance. So that's why I placed this agenda item here. I agree with you, Alderman Johnson, that if it's just funding, you can make a motion to base this decision off of what the decision of personnel is. I don't know if I have the support of the committee. I mean, I fully acknowledge that, but it's your committee, so however you see fit.
Well, and I'm just thinking it doesn't make a ton of sense to go over the merits of your request, because that's more of a personnel committee thing. If this is exclusively about financing, let's just dispose of this item and take it up at council if it's required.
Sounds fine to me.
So what are you suggesting? Yes, Director Falls.
Sorry to jump in. I know Director Ellenbecker just walked off. I talked to Director Ellenbecker, and if there was any funding for this, it'd come from contingency. So you all know that if they approve someone to look at it, it'll come from contingency. So that's your information. I think we can talk about maybe even the cost at the personnel committee and the extent of the investigation if one was approved.
In which case then, if it's okay with the chair, I would just make a motion to receive and place on file, recognizing that this could get pulled at council if the personnel committee were to make a recommendation to pursue the hiring of an outside firm. Does that make sense?
That makes sense to me. How about to the rest of the committee?
Fine, I'll second it.
And okay. All right. Motion to receive and place on file made by Alder Johnson, seconded by Alder Corpus Dax. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, nay. Motion carries. Thank you. Number 2, request with possible action to approve the resolution in support of a strong state and local partnership and increased state budget funding for the shared revenue program. Staff.
Yes, within your packet, I had included some information. This is not something that I have typically done in the past, but it was a strong recommendation from the League of Municipalities to help put a resolution through, especially the larger cities within the state, to have a resolution that we can send to our legislators and to help show the state that, we really have seen a decrease in shared revenue over many, many years. And it's really just support saying, we've been hurt over time, and it really would be helpful if we had more of the budget allocated to shared revenues. So it's really a resolution. There really is, it's really not going to affect anything on our end. There's really not any more action we have to take other than if this gets approved through finance and then through council, we'll just be sharing it with the league, and we'll be sharing it with our legislators and potentially try to get why they're still discussing the state budget, see if they're going to see if there's a way this year or in the future rounds that they could increase our shared revenue. I mean, there was some information on there, as you had seen. There was at one point in time, shared revenue used to be higher than what we used to get in for taxes. As you see now, it's about only 50% of what we're getting in for taxes is now shared revenue. So it's been a big switch of reduced money coming in from the state and relying more on other miscellaneous revenues or on taxes to cover our operational costs. So not sure if anyone has any questions on this.
Anyone have any questions? Alder Johnson.
Yeah, I mean, without trying to give our state legislature too much credit, it almost seems like a strategic objective to force municipalities to not spend as much, right? And what I mean by that is we're going to shrink shared revenue. We're going to impose levy limits. We're going to impose expenditure restraint. And it's like the perfect storm to force local municipalities to cut spending, right? Because now you have no exit. So I can't help but wonder when looking at this resolution, the one thing that seemed to be missing, and I'm a big believer of local control. I really don't like it when the state talks about local control, but then does all of these things that actually contradict that. And so what's missing to me in the resolution, though, is just a draft from the league. Any reference to relieving some of the restrictions related to levy limits and expenditure restraint. So, Director Ellenbecker, from your perspective, is that language that would be welcomed?
Yes, we can modify anything within that resolution. Again, that was a very template or a sample that came from the league, and then at any point they said we should certainly modify it to have it meet the City of Green Bay's needs.
Okay, because it just feels to me like it's one of those things where we can say, hey, we want you to fix the shared revenue model, but if you're not going to do that, at least do this.
I mean, do we want to give him an out? Okay, go ahead, Alder Galvin.
I'm going to jump right in with Alder Johnson. When I looked at the figures that Director Ellenbecker gave us, I was shocked. And I mean, personally, I've seen this at least, 2008 or so, when the state legislation has taken us down this road where they keep talking about, everyone should have the ability to rule themselves, govern themselves. And at the same time, they're tying our hands behind our back. They're tying our fiscal strings. We've got people complaining to us about the deplorable state of our roads. I just saw some more on social media. The roads in Green Bay stink again, all that kind of stuff. We know we've got other large infrastructure issues to deal with, yet we're not in any position, we're not allowed to be in a position to do anything to alleviate those problems. I agree. I think there ought to be, in that resolution, a little bit more pointed conversation, to really direct what we're looking for, which is either more shared revenue or the ability to do more for our municipalities to raise the funds they need to put their cities in a better position to take care of their constituents. Thank you.
So thank you. So what I was going to say to Alder Johnson, and I'll say to you too, is that would be good, but I'm afraid that they'll choose that as the option instead of, wouldn't shared revenue be better for us than to give them the option of saying, oh, sure, go ahead, raise your taxes and do those.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm just wondering strategically, is it a good move to give them that kind of an option?
Yeah, to me, it's you'd have to word it properly, right? And the wording of it is almost more of the is in the recitals where it's a whereas as opposed to a now therefore it be resolved, right? So you're saying whereas you've imposed these restrictions, which has made shared revenue even harder to tolerate.
I like that. Now, yes, because I guess I was thinking of it as a wherefore be it resolved, do this or do that, but to point it out that now this is why things are so difficult. So am I missing anything? Alder Corpus Dax, what do you think?
Like the addition that Alder Johnson has recommended here.
I like it as a whereas. Should we let Diana work on that, or when does this need to be in?
I was going to say, we don't have a lot of time because they're really looking at the state budget, and I apologize for kind of bringing it to you last minute. It was one of those things that the league had been mentioning for about the last month, and then, I kind of talked with the mayor and Vanessa, our city attorney, and just said, hey, what do you think we should do this? And they're like, it's probably a good idea to send it through. It just may help. We were on the League of Municipalities a call today, and one of the representatives from the league says, we have he thinks about a 40% chance that this shared revenue increase will go through in the budget, because it is right now in there. But, with the more support they have, the better chance if they start seeing another larger city asking for more support. So I apologize. I would almost prefer if we could come up with the whereas here where we kind of amend the resolution so that I can take it through in the next council so we can get it while they're still, because I think they have more budget meetings up until the end of April. And if we wait too long, it might be too late for this budget hearing. Doesn't mean we couldn't continue to do it, but I would ask if maybe we could come up with the whereas here.
I think Alder Johnson almost has a whereas completed, don't you, Alder Johnson?
Yeah, I was starting to chicken scratch something, but now I'm going to type it because I can do that faster.
Okay, we'll give him a minute to breathe, because it's really just mentioning the three things, right? Which are the cap, right? Cap on the levy.
The levy limit cap, correct. There's a levy limit. Then there's expenditure restraint.
Expenditure restraint. I thought there were three things. Is that it?
The third
levy
one,
limit and expenditure restraint.
Right, and then I guess the third one, in my eyes, would be we can at times go over a levy limit with either using an adjustment or through a referendum, you can go over your levy limit, but all that means is you're going to impose a much higher tax on your constituents. So,
right.
You're not, what would be nice is if we got more money from the state so we wouldn't have to impose as much tax increase on our taxpayers.
And then even whatever Alder Johnson comes up with now, and if we pass it, we still could, if at council people have had more thoughts, we still could change a couple words at council. We could amend it. So all the pressure's not on you, Alder Johnson.
I think I've got something here.
Most of the pressure.
Now, this is not going to be perfect, but I think it gets the point across, and we all know what happens to these resolutions anyway. So I have, whereas levy limits and expenditure restraint combined with a reduction in shared revenue restricts local government's ability to generate revenue sufficient to fund local municipal infrastructure projects and annual operating budgets.
That's pretty darn good. I like it. What do you guys think?
Want to shoot that to me in an email?
Sure will.
I would be very content with that. That would allow us to move forward with it. And as Alder Dorf said, if for some reason in the next week, somebody wants to tweak that line or add something else, we certainly can. But that will help us keep us moving forward to the council and at least give us a chance to at least submit it to the state and to the league to help push us and try to, help push to have the budget include at least some kind of increase in the shared revenue.
All right. So that's a motion or?
Real quick,
I guess first we're going to move to amend the resolution, right? Oh, I'm sorry, Lindsay.
that's okay. Alder Johnson, do you have it put in the place where you would like it as well, or do you guys want to figure that out as well?
I don't really care where it goes.
Why don't you figure that out, Attorney Mather? Wherever. it will
And
go.
So
just
motion
sent it to you.
to amend as
Thank you.
recommended.
Motion
Second.
to, okay, motion to amend is recommended by Alder Johnson, second by Alder Galvin. All those in favor of the amendment, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, nay. Okay, that motion carries.
Motion to approve as recommended or adopt?
Adopt. Should we say adopt? Well, maybe approve because only council adopts resolutions, right? Okay.
All right. Second.
Motion to approve as amended by Alder Corpus Dax, second by Alder Galvin. All those in favor say aye.
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 Aye, opposed, nay. That motion carries too. Thank you, Alder Johnson, and thank you, staff. So let's get back to the agenda. Okay, so informational contingency is at 150,000 still. And the next Finance Committee meeting will be Tuesday, April 27th at 4:30 p.m. Is there anything else? Nope. All right, I'll entertain a motion for adjournment.
So
So moved.
Moved by Alder Johnson. Second by Alder Corpus Dax. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, nay. Motion carries. And we'll see you guys in 5 minutes. Personnel?
Sure.
What do you want? 5 minutes? See you then.
Thank you.